Now, before you ask, I did not start a howl when that wolf came right up to me. Oh my god. Thank you so much. So yeah, The Dreamcatcher is going to be my next studio album. There'll be more information out about it next month. Huge thank you to Easy Wolf, to Tom, to Stuart, to everyone that was involved in the making of the video. A huge thank you to Tim Russ, who some of you might know as Star Trek Voyager's Tuvok. He did the voice acting over that for us. He was an amazing person. He was such a joy to work with. Thank you, Tim, if you ever see this. Thank you so much.
I would say thank you. They didn't tell me what that was going to be about. They just said that the guy over here is going to distract you. I am in... Is Easy Wolf out there by chance? Yeah. You are? Dude, stand up. Let people see you. Holy mother of crap. Wave your arms. Okay, back there. That was astonishing. One of the greatest filmmakers in our fandom, one of the greatest musicians in our fandom. Is anybody else have an erection other than me? You? Yeah, I know how you feel. Jeez. I'm 51 years old. This is the first time in 12 years. I'm going to treasure it while I can, okay? Where were we? I was making noises with my face while they're getting that ready. Oh God, what am I going to do now? More noise. I'll see what I can do. I mentioned that that recent trip that I had, there was a little bit of something that happened ahead of time. You know, there are a lot of things about Uncle Kage that a bunch of you probably do not know. Little secrets I'll let you in on. Little things. First off, are you aware that I have a doctorate in chemistry, I'm a successful scientist, but I am the grandson of an American hobo. My grandfather was indeed a hobo, a tramp. He rode the rails. And another secret, when I was very, very young, there was some damage to my teeth. What you see here are actually caps on the teeth. They're made of porcelain. They don't cause me any problem. The only thing is I had to brush with toilet cleaner, but other than that, yeah. One of them broke off 2 days before I was to go to SunnyCon. And my smile suddenly had this horrible, snarly, snaggletooth gap in it. And I frantically called my dentist. And I said, I need an appointment. I need to have this fixed. You gotta help me, please, please, please. And the dentist said, well, okay, come in tomorrow morning. This is 24 hours before leaving. I went into his office and said, what's the problem? I said, I am traveling internationally. I'm going to be performing overseas, and I cannot perform with my teeth looking like hell like this. This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. You need to fix it for me. He said, where are you going? I said, England. And he said, anyway, let's change the subject. Let's talk about the other end of the world, shall we? I also get invited to a wonderful convention that's down in Australia. It's called Convergence, and it is magnificent. I love Convergence. It is, first off, in January, which is summertime down there. They put on a good show. Pete Smith, the man in charge, he's like the little brother I never had. I'd like to beat up on him. But the thing about Australia that makes it really interesting is that everything in Australia wants you dead. Everything. I mean, the flora, the fauna. What does Australia have the rest of the world doesn't have? Box jellyfish, funnel web spiders, land sharks, drop bears. Everything in that country wants to kill you. And that's cool. See, because I come from the United States where there's a gun pointed at me all the time. I'm used to it. Maybe I shouldn't make that joke over here. Stop it! Oh, I have a headache. Good heavens, I'll just put my wine glass up here. Anyway, I was there in Australia, and they had a beautiful, beautiful campsite that was on a green bluff overlooking the Yarra River outside of Melbourne. Now, the Yarra is they make fun of the Yarra because in its past it was a polluted river, but I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was very picturesque. So, being a tourist, I wanted to go down there. I got out my what do you call it? Your handy over here, they call it, right? Had to get that thing. So, I had to get this, which is stuck on my belt, and it's really ruining the story. There we go, okay. So I got the thing out, and I'm like, oh boy, I'm going to take pictures of the Yarra. And I went there. There was a long set of wooden stairs that led down to the water. Not a problem. I'm going to go down this long set of wooden stairs, and I walked down the long set of wooden stairs all the way down to this wonderful water that was oozing its way slowly to the Pacific Ocean. And I got down there, and I'm looking around and said, okay, I got to get a picture of this, I got to get a picture of that. Typical tourist stuff. So I like practically filled my phone with pictures. And when I turned to go back up, the railing, the wooden railing, had a piece of paper that was attached to it with wire. And the piece of paper had written on it the words, "Warning! A 1-meter tiger snake is living under the stairs. They are deadly. It is territorial. It will stand its ground." And I said, oh, how nice to tell me. It would have been nicer if you put this warning at the top of the stairs before I came down here to where it is. So I went back up the stairs, kind of like this. And I saw a stick. No, just a stick. And I made it to the top of the stairs. And I reminded myself that everything in Australia wants to kill you. So I dodged a bullet. That's an American expression. I dodged that bullet that day. I had a lot of fun at convergence. Did anybody go to my first furry convention panel either this year or in the past? Remember how I warned you about something called con crud? Even when you are careful, even when you have your hand sanitizer, which I have in my pocket here, one can still catch con crud. I was there until Monday. It was the Sunday of the convention in the morning where I felt it creeping up on me. Within 3 hours, I was running a fever. It must have been 39 degrees Celsius fever. I was feeling dizzy. I couldn't swallow. I could hardly speak. And I still had 3 panels and an auction to do that day. We have an expression in show business, the show must go on. I was sitting backstage and I was perspiring, and I thought, I don't know, how am I going to make it through this? And Pete came back and he said, "Yeah, mate, you all right?" Which in Australian is, "Excuse me, my good friend, are you feeling okay?" And I said, "Dude, everything in your country is trying to kill me, even the air." And he said, "All right, no worries, mate," which in Australian means anything you wanted to, actually. It's like a catch-all term. So I finished my panels, and I finished the auction. My voice sounded like croaking a frog. It was a little weird. I managed to get through the auction. I knew that I could barely walk, and I just told people, "I'm going to my room. I'm sorry." I went to my room. It was 5 in the afternoon, 1700 for you Europeans, and I just fell into bed, and I slept around the clock, thinking that with a good night's sleep, I would defeat the Australian plague. Didn't work that way. I woke up the next morning feeling worse. And now I had to get on a trans-Pacific airplane flight that was going to take me 21 hours across the ocean to the United States. Surely sitting on the plane and being nice and still and resting will make me feel better. It didn't. I arrived in Los Angeles. My clothing looked like I had fallen into a swimming pool. I mean, it was dripping with perspiration. I knew that my face was flushed deep red, and I wasn't being very steady when I walked. I was kind of walking like this, dragging my suitcase behind me, and sometimes walking backwards even. And I went into the immigration area, and they had a giant sign that said, "If you are showing any signs of illness whatsoever, you must report to a health inspector." I said, uh-oh. See, I know what they're worried about. They're worried about Ebola. I know I don't think I had Ebola. No, I knew I didn't have Ebola. I had the Australian plague. That's not going to start a pandemic in my country. So I figure, I'll just be cool about it. I'll just walk through here and nobody will notice that I'm drenched in perspiration and bleeding from the eyeballs and walking like a zombie. The fever was so high, I thought I was going to set off one of the fire detectors. But if I play it cool, nobody will notice. Somebody noticed. An American immigration inspector came up and said, "Excuse me, sir, you don't look well. Are you feeling all right?" This is where it's useful to be a comedian, because you can think quickly. And I said, "No, I don't feel well at all. Listen, my boy, you're still young, you can learn. Don't ever try to match one drink for one drink with Australian Marines, you will lose." He looked at me a little more closely and I said, "Is there anything in that wastebasket? Could you kick it over here? I think I'm going to need it." He said, "Move along, sir, move along, please." So I was congratulating myself. I got through that, didn't I? Aren't I clever? And it was when I was telling this story to some friends of mine who are in the military, they said, "You do know that Australia doesn't have Marines, right?" Thank God I got the stupid one. I sometimes wonder if I'm getting too old for this. I used to be able to do like 3 hours on stage without getting tired, but I'm starting to feel worn out. When you get old, it sucks. Just remember that. You will start to feel different. Your mind will start acting differently. You'll accept the chairmanship of furry conventions. We have something, maybe in your home language you have a phrase that describes what in English we call a senior moment. When you do something that you would expect of somebody who is 98 years old and almost dead. When you get to be my age, you find yourself having senior moments. I remember my first one. I'll take you back in time to my first senior moment. I woke up in the morning and I was going to have breakfast, typical American breakfast, cereal with milk. So I took out a bowl and I put it on the countertop. And I poured the cereal into it. I was going to pour the cereal into it, that is, I'm sorry. And I went to get the milk out of the refrigerator. And when I opened the refrigerator, the box of cereal was in the refrigerator. I said, "That's very strange. I don't remember putting that in there. And what's stranger is I don't see the milk." It does suck getting old, believe me. Not only that,